Something I know I've been guilty of in the past is really only knowing chord voicings from the E and the A string, so knowing the bass note, the root note of the chord from either the low E or the A string, and missing out on all the rich, wonderful chords you can get on the top 4 strings off D, G, B, E. And it was only when I really got into chord melody playing or wanting to do chord solos when playing live and so forth that I really thought, this is what I'm missing. And the reason they're so important, particularly for chord melody playing, is it helps you have a chord with the melody note on the high E string. Now, largely speaking, when you're playing chord melody, you're going to put the melody on the B and the E string, so you're therefore going to need chord voicings. And drop 2 voicings off the D string is one way to do this. For example, here's a bit of my chord melody of What Is This Thing Called Love using those kind of voicings. Using those voicings allows the melody to cut through on the top string, and then that will cut over other instruments you're playing with or what you're playing over. If we took a minor 2-5-1, like at the start of What Is This Thing Called Love, so G minor 7 flat 5, C7 to F minor 6, but try and find those chords voiced on the top 4 strings. First off, we'd do it with the root in the bass. We'll give us that. That obviously jumps around too much, but it's still an important chord on it, right? Ideally, when you learn these voicings, you want to know that that's going 1, flat 5, flat 7, and the flat 3, to 1, 5, flat 7, 3, to 1, 5, 6, flat 3. It's important. And then what you would do is you would learn the subsequent inversions for each of those 3 chords. So for G minor 7 flat 5, it would be this. You can do this last one an octave lower if you need to. So I'm emphasizing the top note because that's the note you want to really learn to hear for you to be able to use it in chord melody or chord soloing. So G minor 7 flat 5 in root position, what we call first inversion, 3rd in bass, 2nd inversion with the 5th in the bass, and then 3rd inversion with the 7th in the bass. You then learn the same thing for C7. So C7 with the root in the bass gives you the 3rd on top. I'm going to drop down lower down here for this next one. For those that don't have a cutaway, this is 3rd in bass, 5th in top, and then 5th in bass, 7th on top, 7th in bass, root on top. Put that all together. Go back to G minor 7 flat 5, we'd have, or play it an octave lower, and then F minor 6 would be this. Again, it's the same thing, root in bass, and 3rd on top, 3rd in bass, 5th on top, 5th in bass, 6th on top, because it's a minor 6 chord, 6th in bass, root on top. You learn those together, and like you learn the F minor 6 in a sweep like that. You might arpeggiate it to hear the notes. Same with the other 3 chords. But then what you want to try to do is you want to try to connect them really closely. So if we started on the G minor 7 flat 5 here, instead of jumping for C up here, I could stay here and go like that. And then F minor 6 would be there. Listen. That is so much smoother. Or we could go, if I went, then maybe I go like that for the F minor 6, that would work too. Let's start here for the G minor 7 flat 5. And then C7 there, F minor 6 there. Let's start here for the G minor 6, G minor 7 flat 5, sorry. C7 I could stay, then F minor 6. That works really nicely. We've got a couple more. Or maybe So you see what you get by these chords. Not only do you get good chord knowledge for better chord melody playing, because you get some chord voicings with the melody note on top, but I will just add a proviso there. That only works if you know, say on this F minor 6, that it's got a 6 on the top, a D on the top. If you just know it as a shape, it's not much use to you. But great for chord melody application, but wonderful for comping. You know, instead of going... You've got all these beautiful voicings you can move between and do what's called voice leading, so, or just close connections, right? So instead of making these big jumps across the fretboard, you go for the nearest voicing of the next chord, which will probably be an inversion, and that means then you get these smoother chord movements. You also learn to hear like how chords connect more readily, and that will help your lead playing as well. But you got to learn, you know, to internalize the sound of each chord. And one difficulty with this kind of thing is just recognizing this is an F minor 6. You know, when you got a bass player playing an F or whatever, it's maybe easier to hear. Or this one, this is still F minor 6, and so on. But maybe this is like the more definitive version of F minor 6 because it's got F in the bass. But one thing you can do to help with your hearing of inversions is practice arpeggios from each note of the chord. Take F minor 6 and go 1, 3, 5, 6, then 3, 5, 6, 1, 5, 6, 1, 3. That's flat 3, of course. And then 6, 1, 3, 5. You can practice that down as well, sing it as you play it. That's all linked with the inversions of each chord. Now, I played a snippet earlier of my chord melody of What Is This Thing Called Love, so let me play the full thing so you can hear some of these types of chord voicings. Not exclusively, but you know, it's not like I just stick to these all the time. I mix and match between these and chords off the A string and drop 3 and triads, but that's largely, you know, my approach to chord melody playing. Those types of chord voicings have to be well known. If you'd like notation and tab of that arrangement, you can get that on the supporter tier, the lowest tier of my Patreon page, which gives you access to all of my previously uploaded chord melodies. I can't begin to think how many that is, it's plenty, so that's plenty of good value there. If you've got any questions or comments, then please leave them below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget Jazz Guitar Lessons here every Monday. Until next time, you take care.